non-denominationals are arrogant. Now, this is going to be a two-pronged thing. First of all, you have to understand that non-denominationals, which I will not call them Protestant, they're not Protestant because they are not connected to any articles of faith, not the Scots Confession, not the Westminster's Confession, not any magisterium. There's nothing that is bounding them or truly guiding them in how they ought to operate in their faith and how they ought to really hold a church. Because they're not connected to any magisterium, they have no reason that they can't just make things up based on their feelings and their preferences. And that's really dangerous when you're going into the faith like that. So that leads to arrogance. The second thing that leads to arrogance is because they have no authority, right? Since they have no apostolic authority and no connection to the apostolic authority, there is nothing in their church that gives them the authority to give the correct interpretation on things or consecrate any sacraments other than the basic, like baptism, that anybody has the ability to perform that sacrament because it's through Christ, it's not through them. But things like the Eucharist, confession, holy orders, those kind of sacraments require like a priest who has been given the authority to administer these sacraments. And it's important. And this is why in Nicaea II, both the Eastern Orthodox and Catholics have valid sacraments. So even if you went to an Eastern Orthodox Mass, you could still get the sacraments from them, but you're still missing the fullness of the truth in the Catholic Church. But anyways, so that leads to arrogance because they're touting authority that they don't have in interpreting Scripture. And then the final thing, which is like the biggest kick in the butt, because they have no authority, because they have no connection to actual Protestantism, and they seem to almost co-opt the label of Protestantism. They have this false sense of security because, again, they have nothing holding them back from making things up. And so when I see people saying things like, oh, did you know that Mary is the Queen of Heaven? And therefore, that's exactly like what they talk about in Jeremiah, even though that's a unique Hebrew that they talk about only in the book of Jeremiah. That's specifically about a false god or false idol. And Mary is the Queen of Heaven and earth. There's more to it than that. It has to do with the fact that she's Jesus' mother, both the divine and human nature. So she's also the Queen Mother. There's just so many things to it. But anyways, that's everything, guys. Feel free to tell me what you think. Peace be with you.